Hi friends, today I'm doing a different sort of video. I'm filming a book recommendation slash books I've read over quarantine slash favorite YA books. I know a lot of people don't like reading and think it's like for nerds. It's basically just like watching movies, but cooler because you get to imagine everything in your head. No one really likes reading until they find the perfect book. I only have like 4 books on hand that I'm actually going to be pulling out, but the rest of them I read on my Kindle. Some of them I also borrowed from friends or gave to friends to borrow. I've read I think over 20 books during quarantine, so I have like at least like 10 recommendations. Some of them are series and some of them are standalones. Let's just get into the actual books I'm recommending. So the first book is actually a series, and that is Twilight. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of it and seen the movies, but I actually hadn't seen the movies when I read it. Twilight is about a girl and a vampire that fall in love, and yeah, there's just so much more to it. It's adventurous, it's romantic, it's drama, it's just so good. There's definitely a lot of critiques for Twilight, so it doesn't have like the best ratings, but if you're a teenager and you just love romance and adventure, like I definitely recommend trying it out. But I literally fell in love with all of the characters, and I just totally recommend Twilight. I love it. I read that on my Kindle, so I don't have them in physical form, but yeah, I just loved Twilight. The next recommendation is The Fault in Our Stars. I also read that on my Kindle. It's pretty popular, so if you read, there's a very high chance you've already read The Fault in Our Stars, but if you haven't, I definitely recommend it. I really liked it. It's about 2 kids with cancer that fall in love, and it's really cute and really sad and really emotion provoking. The next recommendation is also a series, and that is the Delirium series. I also read this on my Kindle. So I particularly liked the second book the best because the main character really like developed in that one and really like became a badass. Sorry if I'm not allowed to swear. That's not really a swear word, so whatever. The Delirium series, or I should say trilogy, there's 3 books. It's about like a futuristic society where love is not allowed and it's like a disease, and there's just, it goes super into depth. It's super cool. It's like kind of sci-fi-ish, and then there's also a love story there, obviously, because love is banned. It gets super action-y, so if you guys like action stuff and romance stuff, I definitely recommend reading them. They were super good, super entertaining, and I blew through them pretty quick. Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I did not think I was going to enjoy this book as much as I did. It's about this girl with, I think, anxiety or OCD, and it seemed like the synopsis like seemed kind of boring, but I picked it up anyways. My friend let me borrow this, so thank you, Jackie. Apparently John Green has like OCD or like some mental health experience, and so it was a super accurate representation, and it was just so interesting to read from a perspective like that. There was also more stuff going on. That was just like the main theme in the book. The main plot was about like a missing person, and then there's also a little romance in there. I thought it was super cute and fun, and a pretty short read as well. Like you can see, it's not that thick. The next book is also a series, and that is the After series. Technically, I did not read the After series during quarantine. I was reading it before, but I finished the last book like at the beginning of quarantine, so I'm just counting it in this. It is super, super inappropriate, so if you're not allowed to read stuff like that or are not interested, definitely don't pick it up. It goes pretty into detail with some scenes that are pretty graphic, so just a little warning right there. But it is based on the movie After. I really enjoyed reading it because there's multiple books, so you could see what happens after the movie. If you guys don't know what After is about, it is about a like innocent goody two-shoes girl who goes to college and has like a super strict mom, and then she meets this bad boy named Hardin, and they fall in love, sort of, and it's super dramatic, super like teenage drama, romance, whatever. I could definitely see people not enjoying this book, but I loved it, and my friends loved it as well. The next book I recommend is a duology, so that's 2 books, and that is One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. I don't even really remember what these are about because I read them towards the beginning of quarantine. There was like this gossip thing at their school run by this guy named Simon, and then he was murdered, and there were 4 suspects who all had motives, and then they thought they were like framed. So it was kind of like a teenage murder mystery drama thing. So I actually thought that was super interesting. The next book I'm recommending is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky something. This is a pretty small short read as well, but it's super good. I guarantee you've heard of this. It's a movie and it's a book. I actually haven't seen the movie yet, so I really need to do that. This is a pretty unique book because everything is written in letter format. At first, I did not like it at all, and I thought I was gonna hate the format, but I got super used to it, and it became like really normal, and I didn't even notice it was in letter form, so that probably won't bother you. It's about a teenage boy named Charlie who's been like a wallflower and doesn't really have friends, and then one of his friends like kills himself, and then he's also been through a lot of trauma. So this is also kind of a mental health awareness type of book. It's a really good book about like teenage troubles and stuff. I'm probably not doing it justice by explaining it, but it was a really good book, and it was pretty short, so I read this really quick as well. The next book is They Both Die at the End by, I think, Adam Silvera. My friend Jiwoo let me borrow this, so I read it, but then I gave it back, so I don't have it right now. But I actually really enjoyed this book. It's about this like futuristic society where they have death cast. So there's like a company that calls you when you're gonna die, like the day you're gonna die, and they're like, we regret to inform you, you're gonna die in 24 hours or sometime in the next 24 hours. And then there's also this app called Last Friend where you register and you like meet people that are also dying, and these 2 boys meet, and there may be some romance in there, I don't know. And then it's just a cute little adventure. Some people said it was slow, and yes, it was kind of slow, but like it's kind of obvious because it takes place in like 24 hours, so it's pretty slow. But it has a lot of good like underlying themes and messages about how like you only live once, and like you have to come out of your shell and stuff like that. So I thought that was a cute little romance, sort of sci-fi-ish read. The next book is the Me Before You series, but not actually the series because I didn't love the series. My friend Lauren gave me these to borrow, so I will also be returning these. Lauren, I love you. I just specifically am recommending Me Before You because I don't really think the other 2 books were that necessary. I enjoyed the other 2 books and I don't regret reading them, but if you are really gonna read something, I would just recommend this part. Me Before You is also a movie that you might have seen, and it is about a girl named Louisa who like lives with her family in London. She just has to find a new job. She ends up being a caretaker for this man, and they end up having some stuff there, and he's super like grumpy because he needs care because he's been in an accident, and then he ends up like getting happy with her, and then all this stuff happens, and it was really sad, and it was really good, and it was just cute little romance. The other 2 books were about, well, if I tell you what they're about, it'll give away what happens in this one, so I won't tell you, but it follows the same characters and the same story. It's just like about other things. Also, that's by Jojo Moyes, forgot to say that. The next book I just finished like 2 days ago, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. The Book Thief is about this girl named Liesel in Nazi Germany in 1939/1942-ish. It was written from Death's perspective, which is just so unique. It was nothing like I expected, honestly. It was so touching, and it was so important because of the time frame. It was like a historical fiction type of book, but it took place during the Holocaust, but she's German, so it was like a different perspective there as well. I fell in love with all the characters. It was definitely on the verge of being too complicated for me. So if you're like not smart or like younger, I would hold off to read this. I'm definitely going to be rereading this when I'm older to see if things have changed. This is definitely a heavier book to read. Not just heavier as in it's large, but heavier as in like more mentally heavy. There were times when I was a little bit bored, but at the end I found myself really like enjoying picking it up. So I loved it. It was sad, it was heartwarming, it was just a great story all around. That is the end of the video. A lot of these books were well known, so I guess this video wasn't really necessary. If you guys want more book related videos, I will definitely do them. Make sure to follow me on Goodreads because that is where I do all my more formal reviews, have my ratings and my want to read shelf and all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it wasn't boring because it was about books, and I hope you guys feel more inspired to start reading or to read more.